Hello comic book fans, this is Earl Grey and panellogy number 41. Today I want to show you the content of this box here, which is, very surprisingly, a stack of Zap Comics. Fantagraphics put out this year, 2014, deluxe oversized hardcover multiple volume edition with interviews and bios and background information and such, which is good to have, but probably wouldn't be read by myself, lazy me, anyway. And the price they want for this is way too high. I think $500 or so. So I looked up for another way of getting my fingers on Zap Comics goodness, and there was this guy on eBay who sold his Zap comic collection for 70 euros or so, and I went this way. Maybe he will get this Fantagraphic collection, and so good luck, sir. This is obviously not the original edition from '67. Then this booklet would be as old as I am. It's the last Gasp edition from 1988. The original would be worth some €1,000 or 10,000 euros. A bit ridiculous. So, yeah, the first one is maybe my favorite because it's all Robert Crumb here, and he wasn't the star from Zap Comics for no reason. He's hands down the most original guy with most reflected attitude, even though he's a weirdo. Was a weirdo right from the get-go. But his psychoanalysis of his inner self, and for all and foremost his obsessive pondering about all questions that have to deal with the opposite sex and sex as a process, and sex in general. And that's surely a theme for all the Zap comic artists. The obsessive dealing with sexuality. And in an hilarious, over-the-top way that knows no boundaries of cultural restrictions. And talking about Robert Crumb, Mr. Natural, and Flecky Foond, all his many of his side characters were there right from the beginning. Even his artsy-fartsy sketches and his grasping of being an artist, and maybe, surely, unfortunately, his racisms that aren't always understandable from today's point of view, but I think you have to put this in the historic context. So it's hard to say if this is more satire or affirmation. I don't know. Talking about the context in which this was published. Nice original ad for using drugs. before, after, quite funny. So, in Zap Comics number 2, some new guys came around. This is from Rick Griffin, and you may know his famous Grateful Dead cover. And this looks pretty similar to this. That's Rick Griffin, I guess. So some things are really just artsy-fartsy fillers that can't be said about the art from this guy here, Mr. Clay Wilson. He's even crazier than Robert Crumb, and he doesn't know no boundaries at all. I show you it in a later issue. He is still a bit tame. No genitalia popping out of every panel, so he was just in his beginnings. Some Rick Griffin goodness here. So that's for Zap Comic 2. So this is Zap Comic 3. Oh, yeah, here. Clay Wilson in Zap Comics 3. What happens when gay pirates... Maybe I have to flip through these pages a bit faster. For obvious reasons, you see. What happens if gay pirates meet lesbian pirates? What the staff from Zap Comics did from very soon was to draw jam comics, where every one of them drew a bit and they put out on some kind of story, or not story, it's more associative flow of conscience storytelling. So here you have drawings from Robert Crumb, Gilbert Shelton, Clay Wilson, Gilbert Shelton, maybe this is a little bit of Rick Griffin, maybe this too, or Victor, no, this must be Victor Moscoso, and Clay Wilson, Gilbert Shelton, and so on and so on. And every drawing style is very recognizable, and it's hard to tell what this story should be all about. It's quite a funny experiment. This guy drew the centerfold of this flip comic book, and he's my least favorite. But Victor Moscoso, he does very much of the filler pages, as far as I'm concerned. That's some perverted stuff from Clay Wilson, Robert Crumb, Gilbert Shelton, and so on. Maybe the best thing Victor Moscoso did for Zap Comics was this cover here. That's neat and poppy and however you want to call it. That was a fine thing. And in the middle you have a centerfold of all the Clay Wilson craziness. And on a side note, Fantagraphics put out the first volume of the mythology of Clay Wilson, Pirates in the Heartland, Volume 1. And if I told you that Rick Griffin was famous, or is famous, for his Grateful Dead cover, Robert Crumb did some amazing covers too. Foremost this thing here, this is a reprint I did, I printed it out and glued it together for Janis Joplin. And her holding company, and printed on CD inside. So sometimes I have too much time on my hands, so I can do these things. And there's a third guy at least who did cover art, Robert Williams, who's known to as under his artiste name Coop, who did a lot of covers and still does for punk bands and stuff. It's this kind of thing here. Okay, if you see posters and art like this, you can see that he stayed pretty true to his origins in Zap Comics, Mr. Robert Williams. So, in this Zap Comics number 4, there was a story by Gilbert Shelton, and I found it funny how he mocks a bit Robert Crumb as the strange guy who tries to sell porno comics to little elementary school children. Somehow, in some stories, poor Crumb is the target for the mild mockery of his companions. He was the star and somehow the class clown of the group a bit. So let's move on. Some more than to show you. So that's Zap Comics number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Obviously Clay Wilson, at least on the front cover. Number 10. Another cover of Victor Moscoso. Here we have the aforementioned Robert Williams, aka Coop, doing at least the front cover art. Back cover I'm not so sure of. But he's very obsessed with this Red Devil, and the Red Devil guy appears on many of his cover art. So this is maybe from a guy that Spain that I haven't mentioned yet. He does his comics are a bit in the middle between Clay Wilson and Robert Crumb. They are not so perverted as Robert Crumb, but not so as Clay Wilson, but not so reflected, artsy, craving to be art like Robert Crumb's art. Okay, second cover from Victor Moscoso I like a lot. Maybe he had stick just to the cover art. His comic inside really is this silly stuff. Comics just for the sake of being comics, just to fill a page. Here. Yeah, the Zap Comics were published over a big period of time. With some years between each issue. So this one appeared originally 1994, and maybe this is one of the later ones that's was first published by Last Gasp, very probably so. So this is a first edition, but they are cheap. You can get them everywhere, and you don't have to pay so much money on them. So maybe this is the best cover of them all, from Clay Wilson. Really an underground beauty of a cover. All his signature craziness and this psycho feel of an outsider artist. Many years ago I worked in a facility with mentally disabled people, and sometimes they drew, and when they did art it goes in this direction. I know this is dangerous ground. I don't want to say that one isn't sane if he does this, but it helps a lot to be not sane when you want to do this art. And as much as I liked my patience of sorts back then, and found the world inside this facility for mentally disabled persons sometimes more normal than the world outside. Okay, that's to the past of Mr. Earl Grey. Oh, okay, here there are some group dynamics going on here, and that was quite funny. They are pondering in different versions over a meeting with Robert Crumb with no good ending. That's some kind of cool ending here. Robert Crumb didn't want it to be in it. He didn't want to do Zap Comics anymore, and especially a jam session with the others. And everyone has a bit another view of the happenings there. As in many panels, I got the impression that Robert Crumb has the most objective view on what was going on with Zap Comics and about the importance or not importance of Zap Comics. And I found this quote very hilarious. "This is a medium for the young comics. There's a new generation. They're hot. They're blowing us old guys off the stage. Look at us. We are just a bunch of characters out of Dan Clow's comic." So, this as a resume, maybe. There was Zap Comics number 15. With Wonder Warthog goodness in it. But I think that's enough for today. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.